Hello, Facebook, YouTube. All right. I gotta go in on this one. All right. Topic of the message: the reality of the performance of men. Well, the reality of the existence of God versus the performance of men. I don't know if I could do that. Something like that. I might have a different topic of it. Forgive me. But right now, I want to talk about this idea, that, I know some atheists on YouTube and on groups that they, challenge. They're saying that God doesn't exist and everything else and stuff like that. But I'm the guy just saying that, first of all, if you're going to say that God doesn't exist, I hope that you say God doesn't exist based upon his word and not based upon his instructions. You know what I'm saying? Based upon, the thing is, an atheist, they can say God don't exist because I don't see him. They like to say we don't see him and whatever and stuff like that. But I'm like, well, I present a pattern to them of God's existence, and they will not try to challenge the pattern. They don't challenge the pattern. They just say, oh, that's stupid, that's fairy tale and whatever, and that's a part of your imagination and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? They like to, you pull that card out. But the thing is, but the main reason of their motivation of them wanting not to believe God, that I truly believe, is because of the performance of the church. The performance of the church, you know what I'm saying, is what they're, really motivating them to want to truly believe that idea. And the thing is, it's sad that the motivation of the church is because of the church is not obeying the word of God and not doing what the word of God says to what it's supposed to be advertised. That I would like to show atheists that, and I did a video to show that the church is not following the word of God. You know what I'm saying? You should not base their performance on God's existence, because the church right now is not doing what the word of God says. They're operating in division. They're operating tradition. They're operating religion. The very things that Jesus Christ preached against in his word. And it's funny, these atheists love to claim to read the Bible. They love to claim to read the Bible, okay, if you read the Bible, you will know that Jesus Christ spoke against the scribes and Pharisees, the people that were, mistreating the word of God in those days. And now the scribes and Pharisees has, took over the church system right now. That, you can't base the performance of Christians these days and say that, God doesn't exist because, people are not getting healed. People are not getting separated. So much bad stuff going on here. Abortions happening, airplane crashes, some stuff. It's just outrageous. But you cannot base the existence of God by the performance of men. It's ridiculous. And the thing is, and if they did read the word of God, they should have read Kings, First Kings and Second Kings, and seen all the disobedience of God's people, the children of Israel, at that time was going on in that day. And there was a lot of bad things happening just like in our day. You know what I'm saying? Bad things were going on and happening, but God still did exist. But what the atheists not understand, it took a judgment at the end of, end of all the nonsense to spread the Jews out across the country concerning their disobedience. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, because look, it's they more likely hate God. You know what I'm saying? They hate God because he's the way he is concerning, he showed his grace and mercy, and God showed his stern hand, you know what I'm saying, against the Jewish people twice. Twice this situation happened. You know what I'm saying? The first time Nebuchadnezzar The second time, Titus came in. I mean, God's stern concerning his word, that you follow his word and you follow it and you know, get the results of his outcome. But if you disobey it, a judgment will come. You know what I'm saying? He already established that in his word concerning his rules. But they like to blame that all the tragedies, the bad tragedies that happen in the country and all the diseases and all the bad stuff going on is because of God. But I keep telling them again and again that God gave men dominion. Let me say that again. God gave men dominion as more likely responsibility over what's going on in the world. So whatever is what's going on in this world is getting bad, bad stuff happening, that is going to be because of the performance of men. And the performance of men concerning pretty much hearing the serpent, Satan, that's keep, you know, deceiving people concerning operating in darkness. You know what I'm saying? The bad stuff that are going on around you is catered to Satan. It's clearly established of the idea concerning the beginning that if something bad, if the atheists did read the Bible or study the Bible, they will know that this is the bad guy. Satan is clearly, we put Satan out there as the bad guy. But if things are going to bad stuff happening, it's because of Satan's is about it. I mean, he's over all the bad things going on because Satan is like the king of darkness. He is over darkness and all the nonsense that is going on of confusion, conflict, and chaos. Satan is a part of that. So God doesn't have nothing to do with it, but it's the choices of people that we need to understand. We make choices to choose to allow a system of darkness to govern our minds, or a system of light to govern our minds. You know what I'm saying? It's up to us to make a choice to be about something that's going to help better somebody or make something worse. But you cannot put the performance of men, you know what I'm saying? You cannot let the performance of men right now tell you that God doesn't exist. You got to let his word, and if his word does not line up with, you know, the idea of what he's all about and what he has done, then, you know what I'm saying, you're not trying to really find out he exists. You just don't want him to exist, or you hate his existence. You don't like how he does things, or whatever. You don't like how he do things. But you can't say that he don't exist because you don't like him. There's a lot of people in the world that, you know, don't like certain people, but they can't say because I don't like that person doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? They have to deal with that person that they don't like, you know what I'm saying, concerning their existence. But you can't let your hatred tell you that God doesn't exist. You might hate the way he does things and say that, you know, I don't like him. Just say, I don't like him, and I don't like how the way he does things. But you do exist. You know what I'm saying? That's what trips me out about atheists. Just do that. Be straight up with us and say, I believe God exists, but I just don't like how his rules work, because you don't understand his rules, because you are in darkness, because y'all operate in a carnal mind. Y'all operate in the natural, but y'all don't operate in the spiritual, and God is spirit, and they that shall worship in spirit and truth, and only spirit will recognize spirit, and flesh will recognize flesh, and a bunch of nonsense. And that's why it will be complicated for a person with a carnal mind to figure out of existence of a spiritual God, which is the saga of atheists, you know, of believing God is going on. But guess what? God has a pattern already established. Now, the thing is, if you want to really question to see if he truly doesn't exist, you know what I'm saying, you need to make videos that discredit the pattern of the events in history. You know what I'm saying? Like I put the 6-Day War on there. The 6-Day War happened in 1967. Studied the 6-Day War and God showed his pattern that they defeated them in 6 days, because he created the world in 6 days, and on the 7th day he rests. Clearly, God showed a pattern in him. His hands was on that, you know, miracle concerning Israel, the Israel, the country that he established in the Bible. See what I'm saying? And you can't argue with that pattern right there, but you will try to make some kind of, I don't know what y'all will cook up. But the thing is, you cannot argue really that with that pattern concerning the existence of God. But you got to understand that he has rules that you may not like. But just because you don't like his rules doesn't mean he doesn't exist. Understand? I know y'all ain't going to understand, but that's okay. I tried to help you out. But that's the message. I hope you understand. Do not let the performance of men, make you think that God doesn't exist, because out through the Bible, the trend, the children of Israel disobey God. The church is disobeying God, and bad things, stuff are happening because of their disobeying God. And God clearly showed in Genesis 1:26 that he gave dominion, responsibility to man, and whatever happens in this earth, good or bad, is because of the man's performance and what they want to yield to concerning darkness, concerning Satan. All right, that's the message. God be the glory here forever and ever in Jesus' name. Amen.